good day. We are now in our lesson 6, no, Musculoskeletal System. And of course, we will deal with the muscle movement as well as our bones, no, all the bones in our body. So, of course, humans do a lot of movements, no, by walking, running, climbing, sitting, and many more. No, a lot of it. The exercises that we are doing in our body, that we are doing every day, no, involves our muscles as well as our bones. So other animals may seem more physically active, no, than humans, as they have to like hunt, no, for their food, no, kagaya niyan, no. We have I guess that's hyena and a lion, no. So of course, hunting, no, is what lions do, while escaping naman, no, from predators is yun naman yung ginagawa natin or ng kumbaga ng mga hyena. So, of course, gumagawa din sila ng mga mating rituals, diba? So, I guess I have a picture here. Yan. So, there are a lot of species, no, that are doing this, especially yung mga birds species natin. So, they are somehow doing the mating rituals, no? Kumbaga, they are dancing before mating happens. No? Parang there is somewhat a competition, no, between other the same species, no, na birds are for them to reproduce, no. And with all that, no, so of course they are using, no, all the efforts that they are doing, no, they are using muscles and bones. So all of these activities, now of course, is impossible to do, no, without the bones and muscles that animals possess. So that's really true, no. So the importance of mobility is emphasized during a time of bone injury such as fracture or dislocation. So there are a lot of athletes, no, that are experiencing this, no, even just a normal individual. Whenever we are we tripped off, I mean from something, you know, like a big stone ba yan, or hindi natin napansin. So basically, normally, sometimes, no, we can experience bone fractures, no. And injuries like this, of course, limits, no, our movement, our life changes drastically. So the normal things that we do with kumbaga fractured bone will not be possible anymore. So that's the importance of having a healthy what do you call this, a healthy bones, no, and muscles, no, sa ating katawan in order for us to do things that we usually do. Kumbaga marirealize lang natin, no, we lack something, no, we injured in some specific parts of our body. It's important sa marirealize lang natin if ever we experience it already, no. Kumbaga, we are unable to do the things that we usually do. So eventually, that's, kumbaga, dyan natin mas ma-appreciate yung ating what do you call this, yung ating organ systems, no, ng ating body. Okay, next, no, is the muscular dystrophy, no. So we have this anong tawag nito, disease or condition, I mean, that is characterized by progressive muscle wasting. When I say muscle wasting, it is, kumbaga, imagine a butter, not that you will put in a pan, a heated pan. So eventually it will going to kumbaga later on it will be thinner, no, compared to its original, no. So ganyan nangyayari pa sa muscular dystrophy. So eventually such individuals become immobile and have short lifespans. So yung kanilang mga laman now will eventually liliit ng liliit. That would of course cause kumbaga immobility, no, ng isang tao. So we have different types of muscular dystrophy, no. So we have Duchenne, no, muscle dystrophy. It is the most common type, wherein, as what you can see, it is, or it can begin 2 to 3 years old. No, it affects lower limbs, as what you can see in the picture. The what do you call this? The wait lang. Okay. Saan ba yung laser nito? Okay, here. Okay, here. So, diba, much dito nangyayari yung muscle dystrophy, no? So, dito siya nangyayari. So, eventually, yung laman or muscles dito na part, no, ng katawan is eventually thinning, no? So, later on, it will, kumbaga, cause, no, immobility. Next, we also have Becker muscular dystrophy. It appears between ages 5 and 15. So usually, nasa adolescence, no, from childhood to adolescence, so siya na age nag-appear. Has slower progression than DMD. Like si DMD, like it will continuously progress, no, from time to time. So ito naman, compared to the DMDs, of course, much much slower. It affects hips and pelvic area first. So that is why, as what you can see, kumbaga parang naka-wheelchair, no, yung nasa picture, kasi pelvic, no, na area yung naapektuhan. It causes muscle weakness in the heart for most. So imagine if you have weaker cardiac muscle, so eventually it will lead to death, no, since there is no what to call this, contraction anymore. And of course, we have our limb girdle muscular dystrophy, no, so over 30 forms, no, yung types niya, or examples niya. It starts in either adulthood or childhood. So, hindi like accurate, no, yung kanyang date, kumbaga, kung ilang taon siya nag-appear sa katawan ng tao. Creates muscle weakness and atrophy in hips and shoulder. So, atrophy, no, yun nga yung muscle wasting, no. So, lumiliit yung muscles daw sa hips as well as sa shoulder. So, eventually, hindi lang hips yung napektuhan but our shoulder. So, LGMD's progression is dependent on the age of onset. No? So, if you are younger, so eventually, medyo matagal yung progress since we are continuously regenerating our cells and we are still young. Okay? But eventually, if ever nag-appear yung limb girdle muscular dystrophy on the later age, eventually, it will progress more rapidly, no, since there is, kumbaga, a smaller, or kumbaga much fewer regeneration of cells when we grow older. Okay, so that's it. Okay, and that's for the introduction, no? So I just reviewed the previous slide of the recordings, and I noticed na maraming maingay na bata sa background. Pagpasensya niyo na. Okay, so that's just an introduction of how important the muscle and mga bones natin in our body. So let's discuss first our skeletal system. So nandyan, imagine what will happen to your body if you have no bones or no skeleton. So most probably, para tayong jelly, no? Kumbaga, we only move, or actually, hindi tayo makakamove, no? Yun yung point. So skeletons are essential to animals for movement. Without skeletons, animals would lack necessary support to be able to move. So it would be, kumbaga, magiging similar tayo with crawling, not moving jellies or slime. Parang ganun yung magiging magiging itsura, magiging characteristic natin. So that's how important bones are. moving from one place to another would be very difficult, if not possible, no, without bones. So skeletons also provide protection that is apparent, no, in the structure of the rib cage, which encloses and protects the heart as well as the lungs. So there are three types of animal skeleton. No? So the first one is the hydrostatic skeleton. So it's named after the fluid which makes up the skeleton. So the fluid inside a sealed compartment in the body is what we call the hydrostatic skeleton. The skeleton, even in the absence of bones or rigid material, kasi hindi talaga siya pareho sa bones na meron tayo na rigid, no, na matigas siya, na hard siya na material. It eventually supports the animal body and enables body movement. Okay? Ano pa ba? So the earthworm, no? So the earthworm and ledarians, no, like hydra and jelly, have this type of skeleton. I guess meron pa akong picture dito. Wala na. Okay, so of course we have our earthworm. So as what you can see there, wait lang, mag-pin mo na, ako. So contraction of circular muscle elongates the segments, pushing them forward. Diba? Ganito naman talaga yung mga roundworms or earthworms. Yeah, earthworms natin, diba? So they move. So that's how they move, no? That's how hydrostatic skeleton works, no? It's just inside the body, no, of an organism. It is not hard, it is not rigid. It's somewhat a liquid, kaya nga hydrostatic siya, no? Kumbaga, it still has nerves, no, that will, of course, command, no, kumbaga, the body, no, of a specific earthworm to do its thing. So bristles anchor the segments to prevent backward sliding. So as you can see, so dito na part, diba, lumiit siya. Okay, so dito lumaki and later on, mapupush na naman ito dito. That enables, no, our, what we call this, earthworm to move. Next type of animal skeleton. Now we have exoskeleton. So it is an external covering, as what you can see in the picture. Now we have our crab, spider, and a bug. So made up of rigid and hard materials. So different animals from both aquatic and terrestrial habitats have this type of skeleton. Although this is characteristics of arthropods such as insects, spiders, and crabs. So yeah. Next, another, no, arthropods, no, exoskeleton. So emphasize pala, yung arthropod skeleton. It's composed of proteins and chitin, no, which is a carbohydrate. It is an excellent armor protecting the soft-bodied animal inside. So arthropods, no, our insects, no, mold or shed their exoskeleton several times to have enough space for growth. So as what you can see, we have our grasshoppers and different insects, no? Okay, kasi they tend to remove or to go outside their previous exoskeleton, no, since they are growing and that exoskeleton is not expanding or is not stretching. That is why molting happens. Next, endoskeleton. So a type of skeleton we are most familiar with, no, endo, okay, just like us, no. This is the rigid or leathery, dapat yan, material located among soft tissues, just like how our bones are surrounded by muscles. However, other animals such as echinoderms also have this type of skeleton. So sea urchin have hard case beneath their spine. So as what you can see, no, so meron siyang hard case, no. So pag buksan natin to, yung sea urchins, eventually makita natin yung the different materials that composes, no, the sea urchin. And of course, sea stars naman have rigid plates inside their body. So this is inside, no, ng kanilang body. Next, vertebrate skeleton naman, which is, of course, us, no, a vertebrate. So the skeletal system of vertebrates has evolved from the same basic structures. However, the different groups of vertebrates such as amphibians, no, the frogs natin, reptiles, with birds, of course, and mammals exhibit changes to the basic framework. The vertebrate skeleton is commonly made up of eggshell, which is always present talaga yan sa lahat ng mga animals, and appendicular, found in most skeleton. So, eggshell skeleton, okay, so the main scaffold or support of the body's trunk which protects delicate internal organs. So, this includes the skull, no, yung skull natin, which of course, its role is to protect the brain, the vertebral column, okay, so yan, okay, for the spinal cord, of course, and of course the rib cage, so this part right here, no? So these are the eggshell skeleton. Again, based on the previous slide, no, kumbaga, these are always present in all organisms since it protects the most vital organs na meron tayo sa ating. Okay, next is the appendicular skeleton. So based sa previous slide, no, it says, kumbaga, not all animals, kumbaga, merong appendicular skeleton. It consists of bones of the appendages and the bones which connect the appendages to the eggshell skeleton. So, the pectoral girdle, no, so here, ito, galing dito sa shoulder, okay, yan, and meron pa tayong, dyan, clavicle, okay, so yan, so from here, papunta dyan, is what we call the pectoral girdle. Of course, ang ating pelvic naman na girdle, no, attach the forelimbs and hind limbs, okay, to the vertebral column. The limbs may vary in form depending on the animal group. This may be fins, wings, arms, or legs. So, sa case natin mga humans, so we have arms as well as the legs. So, bones of the human body. Now, so the eggshell skeleton comprising the spine, chest, and head, now contains 80 bones. Okay, ang appendicular naman na skeleton comprising the arms and legs, including the shoulder and the pelvic girdles, contains 126 bones, bringing the total of the entire skeleton to 216 bones. But take note, infants are born with 270 bones, so imagine, with most of it being cartilaginous, but will later fuse together and decrease over time to 206 bones. So 172 of 206 bones are part of a pair, and the remaining 34 is unpaired. Okay? So yan. So part sila ng pair, yung 172. So 34 ang unpaired. So, first one is the spine or the vertebral column. So, a fully grown adult features 26 bones, no? So, isa-isa ito, ha? Ito, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kaya, ang cervical, no, has 7 bones. Ang thoracic naman, oh, I'm sorry, andyan yung mukha ko, no, sa lumbar na part, but yan, isa-isa ito, no, sa ating vertebral column, no, kumbaga it counts, no, the, what we call this, every part of the vertebral column. So, thoracic naman natin is 12, and itong yellow na part, no, the lumbar vertebrae, no, so, it has 5 bones. Okay, so si sacrum naman, this is the green one, 5 bones at birth fused into 1 after adolescence. So ito na yung some now of the bones examples that fuse now when we get older. And coccygeal na vertebrae naman, or the chordal, no, set of 4 bones at birth, but in adult, isa na lang siya. Okay, so pati ang sacrum, isa lang din. So we have 7 plus 12 is equal to, meron pala ako dito, 7 plus 12 plus 5 plus 1, and 1 is equal to 26 bones. Okay? Next, chest naman. Okay, the thoracic cavity natin. So, there are 25 bones in the chest. So, the chest contains cartilage for the lungs to fill with air. Okay? So, ang green dito, okay, is the sternum. So, ito siya. Okay, so only one lang siya. Ito connected, ito sila. Okay. And of course, the ribs, no? Ribs is yung color sky blue, no? So we have 24 kasi 12 pairs ito sila. So we have 1 to 10, tapos merong dalawa sa likod. And of course, the yellow is a cartilage. So 1 plus, okay, 1 sternum plus 24 na ribs, we have 25 bones. Head naman. So there are 23 bones in the skull, including the bones of the middle ear and the hyoid bone. The head contains 29 bones. So cranial bones. Okay, so this is our cranial bone. So we have 8. Now, so we have occipital bone. Okay, so here, no, ito na part, hindi lang kasi siya klaro. Don't worry, I'll be sending naman the PDF nito, no. Parietal bone naman natin, of course, here. Okay, so that's 2, no? Kasi meron tayong left, no, and right hemisphere sa ating brain. So this is somewhat divided. So we have 2 here. Ano pa ba? Frontal lobe. Okay. And ano pa ba? Temporal, of course, the green one. Okay, sphenoid bone. Okay, saan mo makita si sphenoid? Yan, the parang blue-green or mint-green na color. And ethmoid bone naman. Okay, so sometimes daw si sphenoid at sa ethmoid is kinakount sila as, what do you call this? As facial bones daw. But, kumbaga, originally, they belong, no, to the cranial bones. So you can see, yung sphenoid at ethmoid bones natin, no, they are somewhat located inside na, no, ng cranial or ng head ng ating skull. Okay? So, that's a total of 8. Next, facial bones naman natin. So, we have 15. Nasal bone. Okay, so yan, the color green. Maxillae, no, the upper jaw. Okay, so yan, ito siya. Color orange. Lacrimal bone naman. So, we have here, yung parang dito natin, next, zygomatic bone or the cheekbones natin. Pero bakit may approve? Ay, ganon. May pa-approve pala siya. And palatine bone. No? So, ang palatine bone, parang meron akong ano dito. Sige lang later. Inferior nasal concha. Okay. Bomber. Bomber naman is yung parang sa nose, banda. Hyoid bone, no? And mandible. Okay. Hyoid bone. Okay, and mandible. So, meron akong hindi na ano na. So, ito mandible ang tawag dito. Okay. So, ito pala yung hyoid bone. Yan, dito sa my throat natin. And, meron pa ba? Palatine. Yan yung palatine. Yung parang dito sa, ano natin. Dito sa gilid na ng ilong natin. Yeah. We have our cartilage here. So, dito siya. Okay. Part pa rin, no, ng head, no, na bone is we have our middle ears, no. So, 6 bones in total kasi 3 on each side. So, we have malleus, no. Ang malleus is malleus is somehow exposed, no, sa labas. And we have our incus and stapes. Okay, the color green. So, total, no, ng sa head, no, so we have 8 from cranial, 15, no, from facial, and 6 naman from our middle ears. No, total of 29. Upper limbs naman, arms and forearm, as well as the hand. Okay. Hala, ang mukha ko talaga, wait lang, hindi ko kasi siya matransfer. Sige lang. Anyways, so upper arm bone, so we have 6 bones in total kasi we have, diba, we have 2 naman. Okay? So, first is humerus. Okay, so of course, humerus is this part right here, no? Yung iisang natin dito. And we also have pectoral girdle, which yun nga yung sabi ko sa inyo kanina, yung dito, no? So we have scapula, no? Scapula, meron tayong dalawa, and clavicle naman merong dalawa. Okay, so scapula ito, yung clavicle naman is ito. So dalawa-dalawa yung sa pectoral girdle natin. So that is why meron tayong 6. So upper arm pa lang ito ha, upper. Next is lower arm bones naman. So, 4 bones in total lang kasi 2 na bawat. So, we have radius, yung sa upper part. We have ulna naman, no? Na, of course, the ulna lined up with the pinky, no? So, yung pinky natin. And radius naman lined up with the thumb. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ulna yung nasa baba, radius naman yung nasa taas. And of course, still a part of the upper limb naman, no? So we have there are a total of 64 bones in the arms, 32 in each arm. So again, we have the hand, no? So 54 bones in total kasi 27 each hand. So we have carpals, okay? So these are our carpals, no? So we have this one right here, no? The sky blue, yata na color, no? Parang sky blue naman siguro siya. Okay, so we have scaphoid bone for number 1, so you can just find it now. But all in all, they are called carpals, and each bone na meron tayo, no? Specifically dito yan eh. Dito. Each bone na meron tayo is counted as 1. Okay, so 1 dito, 1 dito. That is why 2, no, each. So we have scaphoid bone, lunate bone, triquetral bone, pisiform bone, trapezium, trapezoid, capitate, and hamate bone. Next, metacarpals, no? So metacarpals, we have this. No, sa metacarpals natin, we have 10 bones kasi yung dito na part natin. Okay, these are metacarpals. So we have 5 here, 5 din dito sa kabila. And phalanges naman natin. Okay, so ang phalanges natin, 8 bones in total. Okay, kasi 4. Kasi naging 4 lang siya, it's because hindi counted itong for the intermediate phalanges. Pero sa proximal, 10 talaga yan. Kasi, ito, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sa kabila din, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, dito na part. Okay? Ito siya. Ito na part. Hindi pa ito kasali ito sa taas. Ito siya na part. And intermediate naman is this one. Okay? So, kasi dito yung ito pala, yung thumb natin, wala siyang intermediate phalanges. So, directly proximal, tapos ito is distal. Okay? That is why yung intermediate phalanges natin is 8 pairs lang siya. Okay? Kasi both ng thumbs natin, sana yan? Ito pala. Both ng thumbs natin is walang intermediate phalanges. Okay? Phalanges. So, for the limbs, no? So, we have sa upper limb natin ito, no? 6 plus 4 plus 54, no? Sa hands na. So, 6, no? Dito na part. So, pagdating dito pa, upper. Pagdating dito sa baba, so we have 4, no? The radius and ulna. And we have ilan ba dito? 10, no, na metacarpals plus 28. 38 naman dito. That, kumbaga, it makes it 54. Okay, for the, what do you call this? For our hands. Next, pelvis naman. Okay, so the pelvis or hip bone is made up of 3 regions that have focus that have fused to form two coxal bones. They are the ilium, ischium, and pubis. Okay, so the sacrum and the coccyx attach the two hip bones to form the pelvis, but take note, si sacrum at si coccyx is a part of the vertebral column, no, na-discuss ko siya kanina, but are more important to the spinal column where they are counted. So then said, the pelvis is one of the two bones used to determine the sex of the skeleton, which is determined by examining the size of the superior pelvic aperture, also known as the pelvic opening. So ang hip bone natin, we only have two. So one from this side and one from this side. Okay, so again, hindi kasali ito since it belong to our spinal column. Okay, yeah, so ito na yung sa hip bone, no? Ilium, ischium. Okay, so ito na siya. Okay. So again, sa first part kanina na ang pelvis daw is made up of ilium, ischium, and pubis. So here, ang red part is the ilium, ang green naman is the ischium, and pubis naman yung yellow. But still, they are counted as one. It's just that its characteristic or component lang yung three parts na yan. So, ito na yung sinasabi kanina, no, sa previous slide, na much wider, no, kasi malalaman na babae or lalaki based daw sa pelvis. It's because much wider yung pelvis ng mga babae, no, since of course naturally the woman's body is designed to give birth, no, that's the reason why. Okay, next, lower limb naman tayo, no, sa baba na tayo. So, thigh and leg and foot, of course. So, there are a total of 8 bones in the legs and 52 naman sa ating feet. So, of course, sa legs natin, we have femur, no, patella or kneecap. Okay, meron din tayo yan, tibia, no, and fibula. Okay, so, parang ano lang din, iba lang yung tawag, no, kumbaga, same lang din yan sila sa upper limbs natin, pero iba lang yung tawag just to emphasize, no, nasa lower limb na tayo. And take note, it's a total of 8 since nga both naman na meron tayong left and the right. Lower limb na tayo, sa foot na pala tayo. So, just like sa hands natin, no, so kumbaga, we also have kumbaga, unique names for the feet, no, na mga bones natin. So, ang foot natin, 52 bones in total, and 26 kasi per paa natin. So, tarsals, okay, so ito, no, yung mga tarsals natin. Okay, tagdalawa-dalawa pa rin, just like sa ating sa ating kamay. Okay, metatarsals naman. Okay, so we have our metatarsals. So, hindi ko mapakita yung aking paano. So, tingnan nyo na lang sa picture. So, 10 din, no? Meron tayo 5, no? 5 kasi dito, 5 din sa kabila, sa left naman. And phalanges naman. So, just like sa mga kamay, no? Ang pinagkaiba lang, same pa rin, no, yung, I'm not sure anong tawag sa, sa thumb ng paa. I mean, hindi siya thumb, of course. I'm not sure lang, but, yeah, big toe, ganun lang, big toe pala. Okay, anyways, nandyan pala, no, so, basic na hindi ko alam. Anyways, so, still, no, yung big toe natin, wala pa rin siyang intermediate phalanges. Okay, just like sa kamay natin. Okay, so all in all, 8 plus 52 is equal to 60. So, sa spine natin, we have 26. Sa chest naman natin, we have 25. Sa head naman natin, we have 29. Upper limb, as well as sa kamay natin, we have 64. Pelvis naman, 2. And lower limb naman natin, as well as yung ating paa, is 60. Ang total is 206. Okay, so don't worry, I will not let you memorize it, no, but if you can, no, you must do it, no, kasi especially mga med students, no, kailangan nyo talaga i-memorize yan. Okay, next, let's talk about bones and joints. So bones are, of course, made up of several living tissues, no, so we know that, and we know na bone, no, is a connective tissue, no, wherein it lets other organs connect with each other, no, parang ganon. Hence, they are also living organs like any other organ in the body. Though it's rigid and hard, but still, they are still not a living organ in our body. And a living organ will be damaged, no, with a given time, with improper, anong tawag dito? Improper usage, kumbaga, no, with the fractures and injuries. So eventually, it will also greatly affect, no, our movement, our daily life. The periosteum, okay, so periosteum is here, wait lang. So ito siya, no, parang somewhat naging covering siya, no, ng ating bone, is a membrane that covers the outer surface of all bones, except at the articular surface. When you say articular surface, it is the parts within a joint space of long bones. So, endosteum naman, okay, so endosteum is itong white na ito. So, ito yung endosteum, yung parang dirty white. So, kanina yung periosteum is yung brown. Endosteum naman, from the word endo, lines the inner surface of the medullary cavity of all long bones. The periosteum covers the outside of the bone. So, periosteum aids in bone restructuring during fracture. Kasi, siya naman yung naunang nasisira talaga. But, it is important, no, kasi it helps restructuring during fracture kasi nga, as what you can see on the picture, no, so kanya naman, like, dumidikit at first, no, yung mga blood vessel, which eventually brings, no, more platelets, no, to repair anything. So, bones are, ito pa pala, a compact bone. So, saan si compact bone? Yan. Okay. So, compact bone composes the length of the bone. So, meron talaga yan, no? From here, pamunta, gaano mo yan kataas yung bone natin. Internal to this is a central cavity, no? Which holds the yellow bone marrow. Okay, so we have our yellow bone marrow, which of course stores fat, diba? Pag kumakain tayo ng bulalo, no, ito talaga yung masarap. Yellow bone marrow is made mostly of fat and contains stem cells that can become cartilage, fat, or bone muscle. Okay, so yun yung purpose ng ating yellow bone marrow. So, red bone marrow naman, okay, located inside the cavities in the red bone marrow, which, of course, this red bone marrow, no, is the one responsible for the blood cells, no, ng ating body. So, dito siya kumbaga gina-manufacture. And, of course, as what you can see, we have our blood vessels there. Now, of course, nerve join the blood vessels for coordinating the transfer molecules between the blood and the bones. The periosteum is a connective tissue that contains, wait lang, naputol siya. That contains, bakit nawala? A high density of blood vessels, fibers, osteoblasts, and osteoclasts. So osteoblasts, no, so these cells are derived from the mesenchymal stem cells. So mesenchymal stem cells are stromal cells that have the ability to self-renew and also exhibit multi-lineage differentiation. So these mesenchymal stem cells can be isolated from a variety of tissues. So here we have our living cells, which so these osteoblasts, are responsible for bone matrix and synthesis and its subsequent mineralization. Living cells inside the bone synthesize the bone matrix, okay, using collagen and hard minerals. So itong collagen na to, it will maintain bone flexibility, while the hard minerals naman, it will enable the bone to withstand withstand, no, tension, whatever tension we are feeling. So here we have our osteoclast and osteoblast. So osteoclast have the function to disrupt the old bones. Okay, kumbaga, since bone is always being used, so eventually it will somehow needed to be changed from time to time. So yun yung ang trabaho ni osteoclast. So siya yung disrupt ng mga old bones. Okay. So a hyperactivity of osteoclast is one of the causes of the onset of osteoporosis. So it's a good thing na kumbaga nililinisan nyo muna, pinapatay or collect nyo muna yung mga old na mga tissues ng bones, mga cells, mga tissues ng bones. Eventually, if ever, no, pag masobrahan naman yung activity niya, like continuous and there is no replacement, so eventually it will trigger or it will cause the the osteoporosis. So, and we also have our osteoblast. So, kanya osteoclast. So, yun naman osteoblast. So, sila naman yung like re-renew, no, ng mga younger bones or new bones, no, sa body. So, a proper balance between osteoclast and osteoblast is the basis for normal bone density. So, dapat, yun nga, hindi lang daw needed ng calcium alone yung body natin, but every other minerals. No, actually, we have 12 no, minerals that made up our bone, but mostly calcium yung alam natin, di ba? Okay, so again, osteoblast produce. Osteoclast disrupt the old bone. Osteoblast produce, no, the new bones. Next is the cartilage. Now it covers each end of the bone. So as what you can see, okay, so para siyang takip, kumbaga. Of course, its purpose, no, is to protect as it glides, no, kumbaga our bone naman is moving all the time, no, with each other. Parang ganun, they glide past each other, they slide past each other. It acts as a shock absorber throughout the body. Next is ligaments. Bones connected at the joint are held, no, in place by connective tissues called ligaments. So we have different joints actually in our body. Okay, so we have first, joints, no? The kind of joint dictates the type of movement that the bones can do. So, depende sa specific joint kung ano yung magagawa ng specific part ng ating body. So, the first one is the ball and socket joint. Okay, so, ball and socket. Okay, so dito natin siya. Dito natin siya makikita, no, sa ating pelvis, no, and sa ating pectoral. So you can swing, lift, and rotate your arms because they are connected by ball and socket joints to the pectoral girdle. So ito, dito at dito. Parang meron akong mga arms. Yan. Okay? To, remind you. Next is the hinge joint. Okay, so dyan siya makikita. Your elbows and knees can only be moved in a single plane because these are hinge joints. Nakagay sa hinges ng ating mga upuan. I'm sorry. Mga pintuan. Okay? So, the hinge of a door allows it to be open and closed but not rotated. And, of course, our pivot joint. Okay, moving your head from side to side is possible because of the pivot joint that connects the first and second vertebrae in your neck. As well as dito sa arm natin, so pwede natin siya somehow matwist at some point, pero not really. Kagaya lang din sa head natin na ilang degrees lang din yung pwede natin. Hindi tayo makarotate talaga 360, parang 180 lang, no? Parang a condylar joint naman, so it can be seen, no? So, siya, like parang similar siya with the ball and socket joint. So, condylar, are found in the wrist. Okay, so dito sa wrist natin. Okay. Toes and fingers, also known as the condyloid joint, it allows the jaw, okay, wrist, toes, and fingers to move up and down, jaw natin, from side to side, Ginawa ko talaga, no? And around in circumduction. And we also have what we call the plane joint. It's a type of structure in the body formed between two bones in which the articular or free surfaces of the bones are flat or nearly flat, enabling the bones to slide over each other. So only a small amount of sliding movement is found. Okay, so yun yung plane. Examples are the joint between the metacarpals, okay, our metacarpals, bones of the hand, and those between the cuneiform bones of the feet. Okay, so yun yung ating plane joint. So, again, slide over each other. So, hindi natin siya parang somehow magawa talaga, no? It's just a movement that is happening there. Next is the saddle joint. Gets its name because the bone forming one part of the joint is concave, turned inward, okay, at one end and looks like a saddle. The other bone's end is convex and looks like a rider in a saddle. Your thumb, okay, is the only part of our body that has saddle joint. Okay, so yan siya. Okay. The bones in your saddle's joint is responsible for moving back and forth and side to side. Pero I'm actually wondering bakit ma-move ko din yung sa pointing finger ko. But yeah, that's it now. These joints are free enough to make any motion in our body. They are the only joints that can do 360 and rotate their own axis. Okay. Next is the muscle movement. Okay. So tendons connect muscles to bone, which of course can be seen at the end of the muscle, which is attached to a bone. So as what you can see here, this is our tendon, the white color here. Okay, so it is the one responsible why our muscles and bones are being connected. For bones to move, so para makamove yung ating bones, no, makagawa tayo ng kahit anong gustong gawin natin, okay, muscles attached to them must contract. So ito, dapat mag-contract ito siya or mag-shorten siya, okay, para maging possible ang movement. A muscle can move a bone in only one direction, hence it can only pull the bone. So muscles usually work in antagonistic pairs such as the biceps and our triceps. Okay, so antagonistic. So we're gonna be talking about regarding that later. So to be able to bring food to your mouth, okay, so yan, ito yung ibig sabihin ng antagonistic na movement, no? Yung isa is mag-contract, yung isa is mag-relax. Your biceps, no, must contract to pick up the food, okay, para mag-pick siya. So itong, ang biceps mo is dapat mag-contract, yung triceps mo naman is dapat mag-relax. To return a fork to a plate, pag like, tapos mo na subo, pag i-return mo na, ang triceps mo, siya naman yung magko-contract. Okay? So, siya naman yung magko-contract. And yung, of course, kasi nag-extend tayo ng arm, while yung biceps naman natin, siya naman yung mag-relax. All animals use pairs of antagonistic muscles to be able to move, to be able to pick anything, to be able to do anything. So, the plasma membrane of a skeletal muscle fiber is called the sarcolemma. Okay? Si sarcolemma, ito siya siya yung nag-cover, no, sa ating skeletal muscle. The sarcolemma is the site of action potential conduction. Okay? So, dito nangyayari ang action potential conduction, no, which we discussed, no, sa ating nerve signal transmission, which triggers muscle contraction. So, in here, mas naging closer na yung look natin with what is happening during action potential. Within each muscle fiber are myofibrils. Okay, so we have our myofibrils. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So of course, in reality, hindi lang siya 9, no? There's a lot. It is a long cylindrical structure that lie parallel to the muscle fiber. So, nakaparallel yan sila. So, myofibrils run the entire length of the muscle. So, kung gaano kataas yung muscle sa ating katawan. So, dito, from dito, no, papunta dito. So, eventually, it kumbaga, it contains na myofibrils. And because they are only approximately 1.2 nanometer in diameter, hundreds to thousands can be found inside one muscle fiber. Okay, so they attach to the sarcolemma at their ends so that as myofibrils shorten, the entire muscle contract. Okay, so ganyan siya. Okay, so each L band has a dense line running vertically. Okay, so ito yung ano natin, no? Yung L band natin. Okay, so para siyang L, pero like straight lang talaga yan siya. So we call that the middle, no? Itong part na ito, the Z disc or the Z line. So kumbaga, the components or all the L band, no, composed, no, the Z disc or the Z line. Okay, the Z disc mark the border of units called sarcomere. So here, from here, wait lang, mag-ano man ako ng pointer. So from here, no, red lang talaga siya. From here, papunta dito is what we call the sarcomere, which are the functional units of skeletal muscle. A myofibril is composed of many sarcomeres. So, isang line na ganito, no, is composed of sarcomeres. Okay? So, hindi lang ito isa, hindi lang dalawa, hindi lang tatlo. Depende sa length ng ating muscle. So, these sarcomeres are run along the length of the muscle, and as the sarcomere individually contracts, so pag mag-contract ito dito, okay, the myofibrils and muscle will shorten. So, kumbaga, para silang, ano yung laruan na parang ano, basta, once, di ba, ganito kahaba, no, yung ating muscle. So, eventually, pag mag-contract yan, when movement is possible, or is occurring, so eventually, mag-shorten yan siya. Okay? Kasi nga, the individual sarcomeres are somehow contracting. Myofibrils are composed of smaller structures called myofilaments. So here, meron tayong tinatawag na thick, no, and the thin na na myofilaments. So ang thick natin na filaments are these red colored lines right here na makikita ninyo, no, kung sa picture pa is naka horizontal, no, na red lines. Okay, so occur only in the A band of a myofibril. So dito, no, is yung tawag dito, L band man ito dito, no, yan. So ito nangyayari siya sa A band. Okay, so thin filaments naman, okay, yung thin filament naman natin, yung color blue, which is, kumbaga, it extends, no, from our Z line. So, attached to a protein in the Z disc called alpha-actinine and occur across the entire length of the L band and pathway into the A band. So, yan. Parang naging simultaneous sila with the A band. Okay, which is this part right here. Next, the region at which thick and thin filaments overlap has a dense appearance, as there is a little space between the filaments. Okay, so the thin filaments do not extend all the way into A bands, leaving a central region of the A band that only contains thick filaments. So this central region of the A band looks slightly lighter than the rest of the A band and is called the H zone. So itong H zone na ito, again, hindi nag-extend ang thin filaments dito. Okay, kaya kumbaga yung central region na ito only contains thick filaments. So as what you can see, okay, so ito yung ating anong tawag nito, thin filaments natin. Okay, so in between, no, is hindi na talaga yan sila though contraction happens, so ganito kasi yan, ganito siya. Pero mag-contract yan, pero hindi yan sila abot. Meron talaga yung middle, kumbaga, na nasa, of course, middle, nasa gitna, wherein we call the H zone. Again, ang thin filaments hindi na abot dito. Dito na part na ito, is only the thick filaments. These, again, central region of the A band look slightly lighter than the rest of the A band and is called the H zone. Lighter siya, it's because walang thin filament. The middle of the H zone has a vertical line called the M line. So, meron ding vertical line, no? Doon, no? Sa center na yun, yung sinasabi na center. At which accessory protein holds together thick filaments. Okay? So, yung M line, siya yung nag-hold, no, ng thick. So, how is muscle contraction coordinated? So, of course, this diagram shows excitation, contraction of skeletal muscle. Of course, contraction talaga yung focus. No? So, the sarcoplasmic reticulum is especially in the plasmic reticulum found in muscle tissue. No? So, it's specialized in the plasmic reticulum, no, which is found only at the in the plasmic reticulum. So, as you can see there, no, acetylcholine, no, which is the neurotransmitter, no, that is responsible for the movement, no, that is of course been discussed, no, during the action potential na topic, no, the nerve signal transmission. Okay, so acetylcholine is released from the axon terminal, binds to receptors on the sarcolemma. Okay, so here we have our axon terminal, we also have our synaptic vessel, and here, meron tayong yan, sa acetylcholine receptor. No? So, acetylcholine, no, is broken down by the enzyme acetylcholinesterase, okay, or the ACHE, okay, into acetylcholine. Okay, so ACHE resides in the synaptic cleft. So, dito siya sa synaptic cleft, no? So, here. So, dito siya reside yung ating enzyme. Okay, breaking down acetylcholine so that it does not remain bound to acetylcholine receptor. Okay, so dito siya. Okay, which would cause unwanted extended muscle contraction. Next, an action potential is generated and travels down the T tubule. So, once the action potential, no, is generated, no, that specific neurotransmitter na will travel to our T tubule. So, after that, so ito na siya. Okay. So, calcium is released from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so this is our sarcoplasmic reticulum, which is malapit lang sa ating T-tubule, no? In response to the change in voltage. So, since more acetylcholine, no, positively charged yung naga-appear, so there is a change in voltage, and that triggers the release of our calcium. So, calcium now binds, no, with troponin. Okay, it will bind to the troponin. So, cross bridges form between actin and myosin. Okay, so actin and myosin are present specifically on the filaments, no, sa ating muscle cell. So, number 5, okay, acetylcholinesterase removes, no, the acetylcholine, no, from the synaptic cleft, no. So, i-remove niya na sa synaptic cleft. Okay, so calcium is transported back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So, after its usage, no, ibabalik na naman siya sa sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, tropomyosin binds active site, causing the cross bridge of course, our yung ating after a phosphate, no, after it will bind, no, to a specific phosphate, no, yung ating ATP, we will now have our ATP that will cause our muscle contraction. To further if you can still remember, no, on the nerve signal transmission, no, so I purposely use acetylcholine, no, as an example for Kasi para ma-relate ko din siya sa topic natin, which is the muscle movement na topic. So, a motor neuron attached to a muscle regulates contraction by sending an action potential to the synaptic terminal. So, there, the present na neurotransmitter na that, of course, enable na the action potential to happen is the acetylcholine. Neurotransmitters are then released from the terminal to the muscle. So, from the nerve cells natin, no, the neurotransmitter, the acetylcholine, now travels to the muscle cell natin, which then releases calcium ions. No? So, these calcium ions comes from the endoplasmic reticulum, no, of the muscle cell, of course. Okay, so muscle cells, endoplasmic reticulum, so doon nangyari yung ating calcium na ions. These calcium ions then attach to the binding site, not in the sarcomere. Okay, so a sarcomere again is the region of a muscle cell, which of course it comprises the all the muscle tissue. No, so in a muscle tissue there are a lot of sarcomere. It induces the myosin to attach to the actin filaments and cause muscle contraction. So how does the body know when to stop contracting? No, like ano yung mechanism na meron bakit it will just stop contracting. Contraction stops when the motor neuron stops sending action potential. So pag wala ng triggering factor, which is yun nga yung ating action potential, it will of course cause the endoplasmic reticulum to reabsorb the calcium ions back. So kukunin niyo yung calcium ion ulit doon sa process kanina, doon sa yung diagram. Okay, so I guess part 6 or step 6 yata yun yung. So i-reabsorb niya yung calcium muscle, kasi wala nang action potential na isi-send sa ating muscle cells. So eventually ma-reabsorb yung calcium, so wala nang contraction na mangyayari. Without these ions, myosin will not be able to bind to actin molecules, thus contraction will not occur. So, now, what is the difference between lifting a light object and a heavy object? So, muscle cells are grouped into motor units with one neuron per unit. Again, internalize natin, muscle cell, ang isang muscle cell, or the muscle cells, marami siya, are grouped into motor units. When we say motor units, these are motor, neurons, that enables to send neurotransmitter in order for us to do the movement with one neuron per unit. Again, every motor unit has one neuron per unit. When you lift a pen, you may use one motor unit. Like, kasi you are just lifting something which is lighter. But when you pick a bag, so there are a lot of muscles involved. So more motor units will be needed to do the task. Okay, so that's for our muscle movement. So if you have any questions regarding today's discussion, you can just message me right away. So yeah, thank you for listening. And for the reference, so ito yung ating reference. Thank you so much. I hope you learned